everybody, and welcome to Blue Jays Today, where today we gotta talk about the reports coming out about Joey Votto potentially coming over to the Toronto Blue Jays if he so wanted to do that, guys. Very quick breakdown live stream that we gotta jump in right now because we are literally talking about potentially the best Canadian baseball player ever. I don't even think that that's an exaggeration.
No.
You could make that argument, guys.
Absolutely.
So a lot to break down here. I'm your host, Nicholas Playalog.
And I'm your host, Adam Peddle. And yeah, guys, this all sparked when today the Reds general manager came out and said that, yeah, if Joey Votto so wanted to, he absolutely could go to the Blue Jays if he wanted a trade. Which is really interesting because, you know, a loaded Blue Jays team, you know, I don't know if we're going out seeking first baseman at this point, but it's exactly what you said, Nick. You got to bring home the Canadian guy. You got to bring home one of the best players ever. Maybe it's his last season. We'll look at his contract in a moment. Maybe a little farewell tour. Who knows? But what are your initial thoughts on just everything? Reds, Blue Jays, Votto.
Yeah, so my first thought, and I think that no one's really talked about this, but this is kind of a weird thing just to come out and say.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just to be like, maybe this is kind of part strategy, being like, hey, like, just to let you guys know, like, if you're down, like,
Yeah.
we could also be down, right?
Right.
Like, maybe there's something going on there, but you very rarely just hear teams be like, yeah, like, if he has to go to the Dodgers, like, sure, we'll give him up, you know?
Well, I mean, the Reds are in a very different place. I know, I hear what you're saying. It's very weird to come out and say, I'll just give you my players, especially one with such a legendary, like, staple in a Cincinnati Reds uniform, like Joey Votto. But again, you know, it's his last year before his club option. I'll pull it up right here. Last year before his club option. So, yeah, maybe obviously the Reds are in a rebuild. They have no intentions of being competitive. And Joey Votto's been still a pretty good player. So maybe the Blue Jays would pay a little bit to go to Joey Votto for the farewell tour. Or maybe another team will pay a little bit more, thinking, oh, if I really do want to get Joey Votto, I got to snatch him for what seems to be an obvious, you know, match. And just in terms of nationality.
I mean, I think that it really does come down to how is he performing, right? Joey Votto obviously has had an absolutely incredible career. I personally think, like, there were some arguments that he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame. I disagree.
Oh, I disagree, yeah.
I definitely think that this guy is a Hall of Famer.
Look at OPS.
Third highest active OPS in all of baseball right now. The only two people are ahead of him are Mike Trout and Aaron Judge for active
Pretty
players.
hard to get better than that.
Literally, right? So, like, this guy has obviously been incredible in his career. And last year was not very good. We will be the first to admit that last year was not very good. But 2021 was actually phenomenal. It was phenomenal. That was like a renaissance tour for Joey Votto. The dude hit 36 home runs. The guy had 99 RBIs. He had an OPS plus of 139. He was very, very good. And I think that if he gets anywhere close to that, if he's doing anything remotely in that realm in the first half with Cincinnati, and let's face it, they're probably going to be out of contention, this is an absolute trade target for a lot of teams, not just the Blue Jays.
Well, I think a lot of teams for sure, but I want to talk about that. Would it be realistic for the Blue Jays to actually go out and make a trade for Joey Votto? You got to look at the team makeup right now. Just on paper right now. If you were to tell me, do you want Joey Votto? I mean, look, can I guarantee he's going to have a year like he did in 2021? Probably not. Am I leaning more towards his last year? Probably. He's getting up there in age. And right now, currently on the Blue Jays, you got Vladdy and you got Brandon Belt. You know, you got a lot of guys occupying that first base spot. But let's just play fantasy land a little bit. Let's say we get to the season. Joey Votto's popping off, just like you're saying. Vladdy's doing well, too. Brandon Belt, not so much. Maybe he's dealing with a bit of a hip injury. Maybe he's got to go back on the IL for a little bit. Joey Votto's doing well. Maybe the price is a bit cheaper for him to come to Toronto. I don't know why. Maybe because if you look at his baseball trade values, we'll look at a moment, -30 value. Not a lot, you know, a lot of money you got to pay for this guy, right? I could see a reality where if Brandon Belt's hurt, we go do it.
Not even just if he's hurt, man. Like if Joey Votto,
if Brandon Belt wasn't hurt,
no, I think that even if he's healthy, like there could be a reality.
You think so?
You know?
Okay, paint it.
If Joey Votto's out here doing what he did in 2021, then you'll find a way.
Right.
A way. Right now, again, it kind of does come down to he has to be good because I don't really see a reality where the Toronto Blue Jays are going to go, oh, you know what? Brandon Belt looks good and Vladdy looks good. Let's also snatch up this 205 batting average guy.
No.
Just because he's Canadian.
Just because, exactly.
And he had an awesome
he won't get any like ABs at that point, right?
No, he needs to force himself into the lineup by being really good at baseball. Right. I think he is capable because, again, future Hall of Famer right here. He is 39 years old, so clearly probably the best years are behind him, but 37, he was popping off. So I really do think it depends on how well he comes out of the gate.
Right, and well, I want to throw another because I'm being a little stickler. I'm playing a little devil's advocate. I would love for Joey Votto to be on the Blue Jays. I think that's such an awesome story.
Yeah.
Canadian guy, great. But if like Belt and like Guerrero are still in the lineup, they're still doing exactly what we expect them to do. Is that value that we're spending in terms of prospects going to be worth it to add a Joey Bat in the lineup? Like, because we're talking like Belt to Votto, right? That's got to be the level. So he's got to be doing better than Belt in order to get that playing time. So to put Belt on the bench, like that amount of difference, is that worth the prospect capital?
Well, again, I don't really see a lot of prospect capital going the other way. Obviously, that maybe changes if this guy is having a season where he hits 36 home runs again and is doing really good. Maybe the price starts to go up. But do you really see a lot going in return for a 39-year-old Joey Votto where, you might have to eat up a decent amount of that contract?
Yeah.
And then this really is going to be a one-year rental because then you need to ask yourself, well, do I want to pay $20 million for who's going to be a 40-year-old guy at that point?
Right.
God only knows what we get out of them there. So really it's a rental piece that you're paying a decent amount of money for if the other team does not hold on to some of that salary. So I really don't see a high-tier prospect going the other direction here.
It'd probably be like middle teens.
Maybe even less than that, bro.
Right.
Maybe even less. Because think about it, right? From Cincinnati's perspective, if you can just eat up a bit of that money, right? Like if you just want to eat up $12 million, well, we're not using them anyways. We'll just save our $12 million and spend it in free agency next year. Yeah. Right? It's like we're gonna be bad. They put the caveat out here being like, well, if we're not in contention, you're not gonna be in contention. You're not gonna be in contention.
They had to say that, of course.
Exactly. They have to come.
But it's pretty obvious when you're already shopping him to a team that doesn't necessarily need him.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I really don't see a whole lot of prospect capital or anything going in the other direction for Joey Votto. This is all obviously dependent, though, on whether or not Joey Votto even wants to come to Toronto, because that was the big thing right here, right? It's like the GM said that he'd be okay with talking about that if Joey Votto wants that. Do you think that he'd be interested in coming here, or would he want to rest it up in Cincinnati?
Look, you can make an argument for both sides. I really do think that the situation of him retiring in Cincinnati, he's probably going to get his jersey retired in Cincinnati.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Absolutely. Like that number 19's going up in the rafters, if you will. But he could also make his final farewell tour with the Toronto Blue Jays in his home country. He grew up in the GTA region, so I could totally see that happening 100%. I think yes. Like, I think he wouldn't both. But, again, are you really going to... Well, I don't even want to say, are you going to uproot your life? Because when you retire, he's probably going to go get a home back in the GTA and get a home down in, like, Miami somewhere and retire there. You know what I mean? So, and honestly, I can't speak for him, bro. I could see him doing both, though. I can see him doing both. Yeah, because
I see both sides of the argument here. One side is like, well, you have your legacy in Cincinnati, and you can be that guy, which is very rare in sports, to be like, I was on this team,
my entire career.
The whole time. That is a very rare thing.
Do you really want to? Not saying it's an ugly thing to stain it by going back to your home country, but do you want to quote unquote stain that like baseball reference?
Exactly, right.
And again, it's all what he wants.
It's all what he wants. I think alternatively though, if the Toronto Blue Jays are looking like a top 5 World Series contender, if we are looking like the squad, because correct me if I'm wrong, has he ever won this thing? Is he a World Series champ?
Nope.
He is not, right?
He could win the World Series with Blue Jays, though. That'd be cool.
In his last season ever, come to his home country and then win the World Series, that's what makes him uprooted.
I can see that.
That changes.
I guess in that way, like that's a really good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
I like it.
You
know what?
Because that's the way that you can go out. It's like your sunset tour. Now you can retire knowing you did it all. Yeah. You're going to the Hall of Fame. You won it in your home country.
That would be sick, actually.
Right? It's like that's the difference. So I think there's multiple things that need to happen here. One, Toronto needs to be a literal looking like we could run
which we are going to be. Yeah.
Which hopefully we should be. Right. Also, probably Brandon Belt or one of Guerrero needs, is like either injured or not performing the way that we
I
expect
guarantee
them
if Vladdy goes down with injury, just not gonna
not gonna
we trade for him.
We will be
if
getting
he's doing
somebody.
Well.
We will.
If he gets somebody.
And then third thing, Joey Votto needs to be doing well. Probably at least 750 OPS plus.
100%.
Because at that point, right, if he's not doing better than that, we probably look to trade for somebody else.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So, like, 1, there needs to be a need. 2, we got to be looking good. And 3, Joey Votto also needs to be looking good. And then if all of those things happen, be a Toronto Blue Jay.
And I would like that. He would look really good in some Blue Jay blue, guys.
Absolutely. And literally imagine, we're in the playoffs right now.
And Joey
Votto is the guy for a clutch hit.
You want to talk about clutch, veteran hitter? You talk about Joey Votto. He's one of the best to ever do it. And to do it in his home country, I bet he's got some pride. He's got some extra energy.
Bro, the hype that I'd have watching Joey Votto, Canadian dude, lead us into that World Series.
Dude, if Joey Votto was to be traded to the Toronto Blue Jays and he was to do well in the postseason, I'm buying his jersey. And we win the World Series that year, I might buy his jersey.
I think it's
going up on the wall.
It's not only going up in Cincinnati rafters, it's going up in Blue Jays Today rafters over here.
Absolutely.
Guys, let us know what you think about all of this in the comments down below. Quick hitter live stream for y'all, just discussing the Joey Votto news. We are going to be live again tomorrow night with our boy Ballcap Sports, and tons more content coming throughout this week. So make sure to like, subscribe, stay tuned for all of the stuff.
Guys, and thank you so much. If you guys haven't already, hit that like, hit that subscribe, become a YouTube member. All right, $3 a month to come at Patreon, guys. We love all of you guys. Thank you so much for watching.
And go Jays, go!